Talk Miami Sports. We're everywhere: TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and we'll be talking about the Dolphins. Some trade, in this case, one trade, Jalen Phillips, uh, and what is the future of the team as we look at the end of the season and looking at 2026. Also, Keynes, Malachi Tony might be what the best freshman in the country. How do they need to finish the Canes to have a remote chance to get into the playoffs? Also, Miami Heat, the injuries. Adebayo got hurt this week. When we can expect them hopefully back. And some of the young players that have been doing well, I think they have stepped up this season. Inter Miami finishing up, well, not finishing up, hopefully going on in the playoffs and not having a key player for the decisive game, referring to Luis Suarez. Tyler, but we always like to associate our podcast, Abuelo Andenieto, with a number, right?
That's right. This guy is somebody I think of almost every time I drive past a La Carreta. I wasn't really I don't think I was I was not alive for it, but you hear so many stories, so definitely a Miami legend. Who is it?
Yes. Well, before I get into that, this podcast is presented by Balado Tires. Yes, two locations in Miami to serve you better. You're looking for tires, Balado Tires. Number 61, Tyler, Livan Hernandez. I love you, Miami. Who can forget that? 1997, the MVP of the World Series. And prepare yourself, Tyler, because we got something regarding Marlins World Series in the sports trivia further along in the podcast. So definitely one of the, top Marlins, especially in the first, 4 or 5 years of their existence, Mr. Livan Hernandez. But what do we have to start regarding football, Tyler?
We have you mentioned it earlier, but the Dolphins, and I wouldn't say cleaning house, but they're definitely starting to make some moves, in terms of with the new GM, with the new regime in place. Jalen Phillips, being traded. I'm not sure how to feel about it. We talked about whether they gave up or whether they received enough for him. I didn't particularly think so. This is somebody that they designated as one of the key pieces of their franchise, just a year or two ago. So to kind of give him up for that, I felt was a bit kind of accelerating the rebuild. I'm not sure how you felt about that.
Yes, well, anytime you give up a one and you get back a three, did you make a good deal? Not really. You were in a position that you have to move them, I guess, from the perspective of the GM, because he's on a expiring contract. So maybe they don't think they can keep him. Let's be clear, he has not played at a high level this season. And he's coming off of injuries, and more than one injury. And he had injury problems at UM. And he had injury problems, especially before that at UCLA. So that I think that is the reason that he's moved, and that's why they get back a third round pick. But you look at the Jets, they did a lot better with the moves that they made. But they had the corner with a long contract sign, so that makes a difference. Definitely. So it all depends on the situation of the player. Also, only 3 sacks, 15 solo tackles. Those are not great numbers for a guy that is supposed to be one of your top players. And let's be real. Outside linebacker defensive end was supposed to be the strength of this team, and it has not been a strength of this team. So I think that Phillips is paying the consequences, but at the same time, he got to Philadelphia and he said he was very happy. He was very well received. So we wish the best for Jalen Phillips, the ex Kane. So what's going to happen with the Dolphins the rest of the season? You cannot expect great things because the team has not been playing at a very high level, and they have had a lot of injuries, and some of the guys that have been playing have not been playing very well, starting with the quarterback, Tua. So, you know, there's going to be some moves, a lot of moves, I believe, at the end of the season before 2026. It could start with the coach. There is a lot of pressure on the coach to get things done, Tyler. And Tua, I think that you have to be in love with him at least until 2027, because if you move Tua, the situation is very bad contract wise for the Dolphins in 2026. So that's a little bit of that sad situation right now for the Dolphins. But I always remember one thing: when things are bad, and they're pretty bad, what happens is that usually they get better.
That's why
So
I mean, you reach a point where it can't get much worse. So I guess I guess you're right there. It's
they're
a
gonna
little
get
bit.
better, Tyler. They're gonna get better.
That's you're not usually not particularly optimistic. So that was kind of funny to hear coming from you. But I guess you're right. I mean, at this point, I find myself so disappointed watching these games that I don't think I could get any more disappointed. So maybe you're right.
And then mentally, you have to think about the team now mentally. How do they react? How do they react against Buffalo Sunday afternoon? One of the three or four best teams in the league. With Josh Allen. With the great Cook. And a good defense. How do they react? They have some injuries also, the Bills. So let's see the mental situation of the Dolphins, responsibility of the players, and great responsibility for the coaches. We'll watch that in detail Sunday afternoon. But we have to remember Balado Tires, Tyler, 63 years established here in Miami with two locations, Northwest 27th Avenue and 16th Street. Also, Southwest 67th Avenue and 8th Street. Very competitive prices, a family business. And they have also brake service. So if you're looking for tires, the place is Balado Tires. And we got always something with the Canes. What is going on with the Canes, Tyler? And I think the major story of the Canes in 2025 is a guy that is about 5'11, 5'10, 100 and what, 80 pounds. He's got a little bit of long hair that comes out of his helmet, and he wears number 10, right?
He does, and he is. We did a
And you did a
special
feature.
segment.
You did a feature on him. Check it out in YouTube, in in TikTok, in Facebook. Recognizing top young up and coming athletes, Miami athletes, right?
Yes, we did. We gave him a Miami athlete segment, and we've also, I mean, we've been covering him. I would say, throughout the year. But this is somebody that, I would say, maybe outside of the quarterback from Maryland. Maryland's, I mean, quarterback is more of a valuable position. They have a true freshman quarterback who's playing pretty well. But outside of him, yeah, you can say he's safely say Tony is the best freshman in the country. The best freshman skill player for sure. Obviously, once you get to the offensive line, D line, things get tricky. But he's just been so dynamic for this team. He does the little things right. We see how explosive he is with the ball in his hand. But if you're really watching, you see what he does to get open, the diligence in his routes, how polished they are. And a lot of things that people don't realize is some of these freshman receivers, JoJo Trader, a younger guy who was struggling to get playing time. A lot of these guys don't see the field for smaller reasons like not learning the playbook on time, not being able to run block. They're going to be running the ball half of the time. And at the end of the day, if you can't block the safety, the outside linebacker in the slot, they're not going to put you on the field. And with Tony, they can do that. I mean, at Florida, he was putting defenders on their back, literally blocking people, putting them on their back. And like you said, 5'9", maybe 180 pounds, and he's doing that. So, I mean, I'm very excited to see what the future holds for this young man. He Man, I honestly, when you think of like a comparison, it's tough to give it just because of the size. He plays very different from his size. I'd have to go back to like a guy like Steve Smith, kind of, where he's a smaller guy, but he plays big. He doesn't have the traditional small guy style where he's stopping and he's playing like a soft player. I mean, very impressive guy.
And he's going to get a little more muscle. And he's a competitor. He goes out there, helps a lot in the running game. So coming out of the slot, Tyler, and he can play both. But coming out of the slot into a couple of years, he'll be playing on Sundays. Uh, Definitely. 52 catches, 632 yards. One of the best players, not only freshman, I say one of the best receivers in the country right now. Junior, senior, whatever you want to put in there. And Miami heavy favorite versus Syracuse, over 25 points. They should take care of business, Tyler. But playoffs. I don't know about playoffs. Uh, they need to win the last four games and they need help. So they win the last four and they need help. They might squeeze in there, but it's going to be tough. That SMU game they had to win, and they did not deliver. And I think the refs made at least a couple of mistakes, but that's also part of the game. Sometimes they make mistakes. So that's what happened regarding and now they're in a desperate situation. You never want to be in that desperate situation. The Heat, Tyler, uh, some injuries, especially at the Bayou, worries you a little bit, but the report is not serious. Is one of the an injury on one of the left toe, so hopefully can be back soon. But they have Hero out also. But they start a stretch of four games at home, so hopefully they can take care of business at home. And I'm impressed, Tyler, with the young players. Aren't you impressed with like a guy like Hackes? He has become
Mhm.
the third auction clearly right now, and he will be worth a fourth auction when Hero comes back. He's playing at a high level.
Oh yeah, and I feel like we saw flashes of it during his rookie season. He had some very impressive games towards the end of his rookie season, and then last year, fighting through some injuries, it was kind of a rough year for him. He wasn't as impressive, but the potential was there. Coming out of college, such an athletic player, a two-way player. I mean, he's one of those people where if you watched his film in college, you'd go, this is somebody that would fit in pretty well in the Miami Heat. I mean, I don't mean to sound cliche by saying that, but his playing style fits the mold that this team aspires to reach, I should say. So yeah, I mean, very impressed with Hawkes, and I think, like you mentioned, I mean, even when Hero comes back, his role can't diminish that much by the way he's playing. You got to keep him involved.
Definitely. Balado Tires, Tyler, 63 years established in Miami, 27th Avenue Northwest and 16th Street. Also, we don't forget the people from the Southwest 8th Street and 67th Avenue. Very competitive with the prices. And this is a family business. They're going to treat you like family. Also offering great service. If you're looking for tires, not in New York, they're not in New York yet, here in Miami, in South Florida, Balado Tires. But we have fantasy football. There we go.
We do. We have fantasy football this week. I actually there was a
Why you
couple
you
of
forgot? No.
no, I did not forget. Well, I sort of forgot. The guy I was gonna give you played on Thursday. It was Trey Tucker, but with that being said, Trey Tucker did not have that great of a game. But moving forward, I would keep an eye on
So
Trey
you
Tucker.
were wise. You knew that he was going to have a bad game. You're such a talented, and that's why you're my grandson. That's why you're the nieto. You knew he was going to have a bad game, and you're ready. You went ahead and made the change.
You can, yeah, we'll go with that. Thank you for painting me in such a positive light. But so I'm moving on from Tucker. Brenton Strange is a guy who got off to a good start this season, but he's been out for the past 5 or 6 weeks. Due to an ankle injury. He's not expected to come back this week, but his injury timetable ended after this week, so he could be a questionable for next week. Good to go in at least a couple of weeks. And like I said, the first 3 or 4 games of the season, he was Trevor Lawrence's number one option. They don't have many other options there, especially with Travis Hunter being hurt right now. So there's a chance that he's on the injured reserve on your league. Somebody's holding on to him for that injured reserve spot, but more than likely, I mean, he's only rostered on 10% of teams right now. So 90% of fantasy football leagues, he is a free agent. He is available. So I would go ahead and stash him. You could probably still keep him in your IR spot right now too.
All right. So Inter Miami, Tyler, they're facing Nashville Saturday, and this is that decisive game. It's 1-1 right now, and they lost a very important player because one of those weird rules of soccer overall, and the MLS now in particular, they lose Luis Suarez, the veteran, the forward is not going to be available because tell me if this happens in almost any other sport. Usually, this does not happen, and this is the situation. He actually kicked a player from Nashville in last Saturday's game, and the guy fell down, for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, got up, nothing unusual in a soccer game. And then there was no penalty at the time. There was no penalty at all. And then they didn't see it. Then 2 days later, they suspend Luis Suarez for this Saturday's game because they view supposedly a penalty that they did not see in the game. That is, that I don't know. They play it different in soccer that they do in other sports, but that is really weird stuff. But it's costing the Inter Miami a very important player for the decisive game of the competition. Hopefully, they can get it done with Messi and company here at home, and they'll go into the semifinals of the Eastern Conference. So I think that without Luis Suarez, they still will be able to take care of business. Definitely in this very important game at home, they probably have a sellout at Inter Miami Stadium. We'd like to recognize now, Tyler. We do this every week almost. Sometimes we get into other subject matter, but outstanding Hispanic athletes. And we do it in Spanish usually. Reconociendo a grandes atletas hispanos. ¿Quién se puede olvidar de Alexis Arguello, 3 veces campeón mundial, nativo de Nicaragua, récord espectacular, 77 victorias, solo 8 derrotas, 62 por la vía del knockout, conocido como el flaco explosivo? Ganó títulos mundiales en la división pluma, junior ligero y ligera. Ganó el título pluma superando a Ernesto Marcel, el panameño. Eso fue en 1968. Después ganó el título junior ligero derrotando por nocaut a Alfredo el Salcero Escalera, el puertorriqueño. Y la corona ligera ante el inglés Jim Watt. Tuvo 2 memorables combates ante Aaron Pryor en la década de los 80. Uno de ellos en Miami, en el Orange Bowl, una gran cartelera con gran público. Pierde por nocaut, una pelea controversial donde hubo alteración de los guantes de parte de Pryor, que lo hizo Panamá Lewis, el entrenador de Pryor. Muy controversial ese combate. Y posteriormente pierde de nuevo frente a Aaron Pryor. Tuvo una carrera larga y muy exitosa. Después entró al mundo político. Ahí tuvo sus altas y sus bajas. Obviamente no se lució mucho en esa parte de su carrera ya retirado, y lamentablemente se suicida en el año 2009. Uno de los grandes, Alexis Arguello. And we cannot forget Balado Tires, Tyler. Yes, yes. Balado Tires, 2 locations, Northwest 27th Avenue and 16th Street. Also Southwest 8th Street and 67th Avenue. If you're looking for tires, yes, the place is Balado Tires. But what do you have for Miami Sports Trivia, Tyler?
This is one I guess I wanted to humble you. I'm tired of you.
You don't want me to win anymore.
No, I don't. If we're being honest, I'm getting kind of tired of it. I think I was better off when I was kind of proving you wrong and making you look silly. So let's go back to that. Let's
You're
go
going to
right
hammer
back.
me.
I'm gonna. With this one, you would really impress the audience if you got this one right. And it's actually the answer is right in front of your face. What was the name of Miami's AAA ball club before the Florida Marlins arrived?
Uh,
Right in the answer's right in front of your face.
on my face.
It's not like physically in front of your face, but like
Uh, I'm trying to uh, the Triple A team. You know what? Uh, Again, memory is killing me, Tyler. Uh, Go ahead and tell me.
but when I what I meant by it's right in front of your face was that team was also called the Miami Marlins.
Okay. You see, I thought it was, but I thought it was gonna make a fool of myself saying that, and I did not get it right, Tyler. This time around, I should have gotten it right.
You got to go down
Definitely.
swinging.
Yes, I should have taken a risk because that's what came to my mind first. But people are gonna doubt and say, "No, no, he's making it up." No, no, I'm not making it up. Now, I have something for you. Very, you see, you said it was gonna be difficult for me. I gave you an easy one. Also, Marlins question: who won the MVP for the Marlins in the 2003 World Series?
Josh Beckett.
There you go. You see, I knew you were gonna get
Yeah,
it.
it's an easy one.
Yeah. An easy one. George Beckett, he threw a complete game shutout versus the very likable, uh, that's not true, very likable New York Yankees in 2003. That was a great year for the Marlins. And then hopefully we're going to have in recognizing great Hispanic athletes in the future. One guy there that was really important for the Marlins. You remember him? He was catching for Josh Beckett. Poch, the
Yes.
great Van Poch Rodriguez. He was key. He was key in
Oh yeah.
2003. So we done it again, Tyler, right?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, you gotta follow us. The great kid from New York, Carmona kid, number 87. They are with number 34. They're more or less play at the same level. More or less the
Yeah.
same level of player. And we're everywhere. Abuelo and Nieto, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook. Catch us when we're cheap. Then we're gonna get higher prices. So,
Yeah.
take advantage of us while we're
$100
cheap.
an episode.
While we're cheap. That's right. Abuelo, ande nieto, arrivederci. Hasta luego.